Hello, and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers at ebayscavengers.com. This is episode number 120.
120, and I know many of you are either doing two things from your comments that you leave us. You're either currently taking photos and listing right now, or you're going to work or coming from work, like by car or train or bus.
Yep, so, listening on your iPod.
Yeah, we appreciate you choosing us to be your
commuting and working companions.
Cool. So this week, Ryan's going to say what she always says. It's been so slow.
Well, what's our numbers? Let's see.
So let's look at
the numbers. That's what you teach me. $1,800.
So we made actually a little more than we made it last week. And we sold actually a little bit less. So it's interesting. Yes. I can understand it does feel slow because we're selling fewer items. We sold 38 items and we made almost $1,900. So we made more money. We sold it less. That means that our average price sold is going up. And that's because this week we sold 7 things that were over $100. Yeah. Couple of them were $200. So really, we made almost $800 just on 7 items. Right. So almost half of that was just from those few items. And that's, to me, a success for us because we've been trying in the last year to start putting up higher priced items, better quality, right, taking more time to really list them and research them. And it's starting to pay off,
And the funny thing, too, is several of those items were priced at $199 make offer, and the people did not make an offer. So, I gave them the chance to do a lower price if that's what they wanted, but it's, to me, they think, great, $200 is a great price for this item, and I want it now. I don't want anyone else to get this. And
actually, we've been selling successfully this week on the global shipping program, which I know a lot of people don't like, or, they say people complain it costs too much. Yeah. But, we're finding that maybe it's for these higher price items, these one-of-a-kind items, people in Australia or Europe are willing to pay, and they don't mind paying all the shipping and all that up front because they're getting what they want,
Yeah, I guess it wasn't last week, but I sold a Sony Betamax VCR to someone in Germany through global shipping. They didn't give me an offer. I sold it for $159.
And they actually sent us a message before they bought to make sure we ship to them, because I think because there are the people who don't want to ship overseas or don't want to fool around with all this stuff, that I feel like we are the ones that they come to because we'll ship anywhere.
Yep, exactly.
It does not matter.
It doesn't matter if they're even in a global shipping country. I'll still ship to them priority.
Now, that being said, we did have one girl this week from Portugal who wanted a pair of boots. We had a pair of boots up for like $39. She's very interested, but she was one of the ones that I think people talk about. She was like, you have those on global shipping. Can you take them off of that? I just want to pay first class international. Let me deal with my customs, because she was explaining that it's a crapshoot, that sometimes you do have to pay all those fees. Sometimes you don't. And she would rather take the chance to pay it on the back end. And, honestly, we just explained to her like that we don't want to do that, because when you're shipping first class international, there's no tracking on it. So if there's any problem, we as a seller have to eat
We're
that.
At fault, because they can very easily say, I never got this,
Yeah, and that doesn't always happen, but when it does, it really stinks, because basically you lose all the shipping and the item itself.
Yeah, it's just that's why last year when global shipping started, I was like a complete convert. I was so tired of the people who are getting the first class international cheapest shipping to England or wherever, and they just weren't getting their stuff, or they were being scammy and they knew that tracking ended in Chicago and they would just say they didn't get their stuff.
Or because it does get sometimes stuck in customs, for a long time. I'm sure we've all had this experience when it gets caught for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or more, and then the buyer's angry at you, the seller, and you're like, I got it out the next day. That's all I have control over.
But then they open a case and
So I can't understand global shipping could be problematic for low price items where someone's paying, under $40 and they're like the shipping and customs is as much as the item.
Right.
But I always explain to people, we don't make any money from that.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
please buy it in your own country if this is a problem, but if you're buying a special item that we only have, like, that's just the way it is.
That's just part of it, yeah, unfortunately. So something we've been selling this week, even though it's, spring/summer here, is we've been selling a lot of jackets and sweaters.
Totally.
Which is so funny. It's always funny to me when it gets hot out and we're selling wool sweaters.
And this is interesting because people will write us on the blog and ask us, do you list holiday items or certain items at certain times of the year and then bring them down and take them down and then put them back up? And we always say, once we list an item, holiday, seasonal, it stays up.
Leave it up. I sold a Christmas decoration this week.
Right.
Also,
because
I remember I got it home, right before Thanksgiving. I had bought this and I was like, this is so cool. I got to get it up today because it's almost Christmas. Did not sell till May.
Right.
Cool. It sold though.
And like that guy, Mr. Customer Service, Tim said, even on eBay, it's becoming so cheap to list. It really doesn't cost anything. If you're worried about the listing fees, I think you aren't really seeing the business aspect correctly because, like we said, we have all these jackets and sweaters up. It's summertime, the heat is coming, but for some reason they're selling, and I don't know why. But.
Well, I know, like last night it got pretty cold outside in the nighttime, and it was like this thick wool poncho type sweater thing that I sold was to someone in Vermont. So it's still cold there at night and in the morning. So that makes sense. But yeah, it's always weird. I'm like, it was, below 0 in the winter.
And plus in Australia, it's the opposite. So
that's true.
A winter time is coming there.
That's right.
And, the other thing we sold, I don't think we've talked about this.
Yeah, this is funny.
We bought in an estate sale, we bought it was like a little table trunk in the shape of an owl.
Yeah, it was like a side table that you'd put a lamp on, but you could open it up and store stuff in it.
And it looked like, it was made out of wood, but it looked like it's probably from Pier 1
Pier 1, it looked like a Pier 1. It looked contemporary, but kind of like a vintagey look.
But inside of it were all these playing cards, and when we asked the guy how much it was, he kind of looked at it and just said $8 for everything.
Yeah, for the whole thing.
Because he just didn't want
it just looked
all that
junky.
Stuff. So we sold the trunk table thing, the side table.
Now, we talked about this before, just real quick. People are really into owls.
Yeah.
Owl anything.
Right.
So this thing was in the shape of an owl. I couldn't find anything like it on eBay at all.
That's what we were excited about.
We were excited about that. So I sold that for $130.
Yep, all good.
All amazing.
But then we got all these cards out, and someone had been collecting playing cards for their whole life, I guess, and some of them were still wrapped, and there were specialty cards, and Ryan actually took the time to take photos of them.
And there were a lot of cards.
And we have been selling these card decks for about $30 each.
Yeah, and so this person was into owls and different kinds of animals. So a lot of them were owl card decks, from the 60s and 70s, and those are really cool. But some of them were just these weird specialty decks from like museums and stuff.
Harry Potter deck.
Yeah, one was a Harry Potter from the books, not the movie, so it's kind of old.
So there must have been about 50 sets of playing cards, and we've probably sold 4 or 5 of them for $30 each. So it's just one of these examples, like we always say, if you scavenge like an expert, you can find these things where someone's going to sell you kind of a bundle of stuff.
Bulk, yeah.
And then it takes time. It took us a while to take pictures of them all.
I procrastinated because it was a lot.
Yeah, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed. But, these are going to sell throughout a year, and we'll just, it's just like I always say, it's just like a little stream of income.
Right.
You know, $30 here, $30 there, and just the $8 keeps...
I mean, it's just amazing.
Awesome.
And actually what's interesting is we were kind of talking about this on the blog about books, like why do books sell for more on eBay sometimes? And I feel like this is the same for like playing cards and things. I saw some of these playing cards in completed listings selling for like $2, $5, but those people had one picture. So what I did was I made sure that I took a picture of like every, you know, king, queen, and jack, you know, if it was a really unique set, really just show the artwork. And I feel like that lets me get a higher price because people are like, wow, this is really cool. I definitely want this. Instead of like, I don't know, that doesn't look that special, you know?
Right, we were talking about this on the question and answer on the blog, where what we try and do is take photos on eBay like people do on Etsy, you know?
Yeah.
That's why all the arty kids go to Etsy, because they want to style it and design it, and they take beautiful photos, and it really looks like a magazine.
Yeah.
But Etsy doesn't have the audience.
Right.
We try and do the same thing, but do it for eBay.
Right.
And
be very, very thorough and complete with your photos. Because, you know, these are collectible card decks. You want people to appreciate the art in it, and that's why they're going to pay $30 for a packet card.
And so the same exact item could go for $2 on eBay, but it could also go for $30, and it's just because we try and take a mystery out of the buy, because someone's going to pay $2 because someone just takes a single a photo, and the buyer's like, well, I'll take a chance.
I'll take a chance, a $2 chance.
There might be some potential here, but we take all that mystery away. And it's like they're looking at a catalog, and they're like, I'm going to pay $30, and I'm going to get...
And I know what I'm getting.
Quality.
Yeah, I know what I'm getting. So that's been great.
And, you know, talking about just streams of income, you know, we talked about this once. A couple years ago, we bought a lot of military goods. You know, we had a whole podcast about how we were buying and selling military stuff we were buying from the government. And we one time spent $250 on almost 1,000 pairs of brand new men's military pants.
They were like almost like Dickies. They were like mechanics pants.
Blue.
They're just blue, basically mechanics pants. They didn't have any extra military stuff. So anybody could wear them. Anyone who works in a shop or whatever.
And, you know, if you bought a pair of Dickies, it'd be between like $25 and $30. And we basically price them at $10 each.
$10 a pair,
And we put them in lots of 3, 5, or 10.
Yep.
And we put make offer, and, you know, we would take basically $7 a pair is what we would accept. But some people would pay full price, and, you know, at first it was like, Jesus, we have a lot of pants.
Oh, so many.
Boxes
oh, my God.
of them.
It looked like it would never end.
But like we say about these streams of income, for the past 2 years, we've been selling these. You know, they sell every week.
Every week,
We'll sell a lot of 5 or 10 or sometimes more.
Sometimes people are like, I want 20 of these.
It would seem like sometimes maybe someone would link to it on some blog somewhere or on a forum. So we'd get like a bunch of guys from like one plant, you know, industrial plant. They would all start buying them. I bet. So we paid $250 for the whole, all of these boxes, and we probably made about $6,000 over 2 years.
Yep.
So
it took a while, but you know, it really was a good stream of income over time. Like on a slow week, if someone bought 10 pairs of pants, that's $100.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's just like that's what we try and do. We try and like buy different things in a setup where like, okay, every month we'll probably make about $300 from here, and then $3 from here, and $300 from here. So instead of specializing, we just kind of like have this shotgun approach of like, you know, of selling.
Funny. So we sold out. Did we mention that? We sold them out, and we were done selling those.
Yeah.
This week.
Oh my God. I wish I could.
The last lot.
I wish I could get more of them. You know? Yeah. But it's just one of those things where it was time and place, and no one else seemed to.
No one wanted
them.
I
want them, and I was willing to go and plop the money down and pick them up from Pennsylvania, and you know, like it was just one of those things. And store them. That's the other thing. We actually those pants. You know, put a fire under us to fix up one of our outbuildings to become a storage building because of that.
Because we had to put all the pants in them.
But now it's full of a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So, hey, there you go. Hey.
So something we've been doing is we do a lot of gardening. We do like actual food gardening, but also we have like quite a bit of land and we're trying to landscape it all nice.
For cheap, though.
For cheap, like for getting people to give us perennials. We just went to Lowe's last night and bought a bunch of like $1 plants that were about to go, but we could save. But part of that is trying to get nutrients and
a soil and
mulch. So there's a lady on the other side of the mountain from us who has 2 horses, and she has so much horse manure. So we've been like slowly getting that. I think we found her on Craigslist originally.
Yep. I mean, as scavengers, I'm sure other people do this too. A couple of years ago, I was just going on Craigslist for the free stuff, and a woman said, I have a couple horses. I need to get this horse poop out of here.
Yeah, there's so much of it.
We started talking on email. I went over there. We became friendly. And, basically, once her pile gets too big, she can't put any more stuff. So I'm doing her a favor. She's doing me a favor. And so, we are now going every day to get a load of this stuff. Yeah. And it's free. We just have to shovel it ourselves.
Right.
And, we'll probably get about 12 truckloads of this stuff. And it's going on all of our gardens. And as you guys all know, a truckload of mulch or a soil could easily be $60.
Oh, and that's just for like $40 to $60. That's just for like, this stuff is like the most rich nutrient. The cool thing about this stuff is it's got horse poop, which is the nutrients, but it's also got wood shavings and hay. So it's like this great, like nutrient-rich mulch. It's the most amazing stuff.
And so it's costing us about $6 in gas to go back and forth. And then our time, it takes about an hour and a half to go get it, shovel it, bring it back, put it on our gardens. So, but it's just one of those things. Like since we own our own time, we have the time to do this. And, it's going to cost us under $100 to put all this soil and mulch on our gardens.
Yeah, and they look amazing. And so that's kind of our scavenger thing this week before we go on our trip.
The other thing is, as everyone we've talked about, we're getting ready to go on like a work trip for our kind of computer work that we do. We leave on Friday.
Yep.
And, we've been focusing on getting through all the piles in our house.
Yes.
And in our office. And that's one good thing about when we do these trips is that it makes us, because we are having a sitter come and we don't want the house to look like a hoarder house.
That's like the big motivation is we're like, oh, we got to get all this stuff out of the house.
And like our house is almost completely empty.
Yeah, we're great. Doing well.
But I bring this up because, I see people talking about going to flea markets and yard sales, and we've hit a couple.
Yeah.
We've been hitting yard sales just as we kind of come across them, but I definitely have been craving going to the flea market. But it's so important we do this. Like, I think this is the moment where we could either be the crazy hoarders that don't process their stuff and are just addicted to buying versus I'm having to just tamp down those desires to treasure hunt and just we're just taking care of business, and it's not a whole lot of fun, but it's good. We're selling stuff,
Oh, it's funny because you actually turned to me the other day and you were like, I think I'm getting burnt out. What did you say? Because you were taking so many photos and I was like just listing, and we haven't traveled since October or something, which is kind of rare for us. So we're like, we're just like piling through this stuff. So,
well, I think that's why for us, we like to travel, we just happen to have jobs, this other kind of job where we get to go somewhere to work and then we turn it into kind of like a vacation. Like we're going to work for a week and then we're going to travel around for 2 weeks, which is nice.
Yeah, which is really nice.
And that's the other thing. When I hear people talk about like being depressed or slow or working from home, there's no way we could ever do eBay continuously and stay sane. It's just not possible.
it's good to take breaks, I think, and break things up and do other things because, yeah, you will get burnt out. You're like, this is all there is to life.
Going back to it's Mr. Customer Service, Tim, his style, which works for him, it's just a different way. It just wouldn't work for us because for him, it's like if he doesn't list that week, he doesn't make a dime. Right. So for him, it's like he either has to be on or off. And I guess he would just have to really save up his money if he wants to take off. And I don't know how long he can take off at any one time. But we're going to take off of eBay for 3 weeks.
Right.
And it's going to be fine.
Although I will say that something that I do love to do when we're traveling is, since we have all our measurements and titles in Google Drive, and I have all my photos on Dropbox.
I like hearing that.
I probably, when we're traveling and having like a couple of days of just chill time, I'll be like, I'm going to list some stuff.
Preach it, say it. Yeah, all right.
While Jay does nothing. Oh, no. That's not very nice.
No, but we talk about these 2 weeks off that we'll be traveling around Texas and Boston.
We're going to be scavenging in New York.
New York. Yeah, we talk about the things we love to do.
I'm going to be going through the trash in New York.
Yeah, we love to scavenge in different places. We love to go to auctions.
Yes.
In these different small towns because we've talked about it. We love you get to meet people and you get to see the culture of the town and
I love that. I think it's really fun. So yeah, when we're in Austin, we'll totally look for auctions. Boston too. We'll be visiting my mom. I'm sure she'll want to bring us to an auction or an estate sale.
Yeah, it'd be cool to go with her.
Yeah.
She loves to go to Savers, and it's for us places like Savers are just like they're just no fun anymore. They're too expensive.
Well,
and
she always says I never go to Savers unless I have a coupon.
Right.
So she goes with a coupon, but still, and still for us, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm way too cheap.
I mean, I'm sure we'll go, but
I'm sure we'll go and not be able to buy anything.
But just to finish my thought about the whole getting through stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could have a life where you could only go to flea markets and yard sales because it is so much fun.
Yeah.
I was going to do something and I ran across a yard sale.
Yep.
And it was amazing. I spent $8 and got a big box of silverware that had all these expensive knives in them.
This box was unbelievable because the first look, I was at home doing something else, and Jay comes home. He's like, "Oh, look what I got at this little yard sale." And this box, right? I'm like, this box looks junky as hell, which I should know better, But then we dump it out, and we start sorting through it, and there's all these, you guys probably have seen these knives before, but they're German stainless steel, really expensive, cutting knives, bread knives, carving knives, all this stuff. And then we found these antique forks, and I kept looking at these forks and I'm like, these look really old. They're not silver.
It's pewter.
It's pewter and wood inlay. And I was just like, what the hell are these? So I cleaned them up. I took photos of them, and I just went on eBay and just said antique forks. I don't know, minus silver, so that it wasn't silver. And it turns out that they're from Civil War era. They're from the mid 1800s. Ours are not in amazing shape, but they do sell. If you search on eBay Civil War forks, you'll see them.
So
it's crazy. That's what was in the box.
So buying is fun and it is important, it's just good because you're always, it's replenishing your stock. You're still getting the excitement of, eBay, but but it has been good. We've been getting through a lot of stuff that's been sitting around. And so I'm super excited.
The great thing too, because sometimes I'm just like, oh my God. But the great thing is once you get through, for us, for our process, you take the photos, you put it in storage so it's out of your house or out of your office, and then you list it when you want to list it. I mean, you don't have to list it that second, So that's what's a good aspect of it. It's not going to get listed tomorrow, but
yeah,
it is in in process.
So we are going to be in Austin, Texas in about a week or so. And we're just wondering, we had one guy email us saying he'd like to meet up, and we just wanted to throw it out there. I don't know exactly what it would be like, but if, I don't know, we're thinking about maybe doing a meetup in Austin, just other scavengers, and I was just thinking, get a drink, a cup of coffee or something, and just, just hang out and talk.
Yeah, we just want to throw it out there just to see. People should say in the comments or email us if they would show up, and then we can decide on a place, a coffee shop or a bar or something that you guys think are cool. Yeah. And then meet up and figure out a date and time.
And it's maybe, the whole thing would be maybe scavengers in that town could start kind of talking to each other or something. I don't know. I mean, if people are...
Share some tips.
Kind of like the reason why we're doing this blog is so we are all working from home, so it might just be a good thing. So let us know if that would be interesting.
Yeah, so we can get more into details if we hear from people if they want to meet up.
So about returns... We've talked about it before, and we've talked about a method that we now use. We call it the silent method.
Oh, I did think of a catchphrase, too, about returns.
What's that?
Returns happen. Because returns happen. You think that's lame.
You got to work on that.
Returns, you know what? Returns happen.
We sold a lot of new designer wallpaper. They were wrapped in the plastic to a woman, and, they sold for, a couple $200.
$200.
It was a good sale, and she got them, and then, 3 weeks later, we got a frantic, a message from her.
Yeah.
She said, my wallpaper guy just put the wallpaper up on half of his room, and it's ruined. There's a problem with the edges are a different color, and this wallpaper is faulty, and, we need to figure something out. That's what she said. She was like, I'm at my wit's end.
Yeah, she was very frantic.
Okay. Phew, take a breath.
Yeah.
And all I did was start to ask her very simple questions like, can you send us a picture of what it looks like?
Yeah, show us the problem.
Right,
And you said, because this was the last lot of several, I think 6 or 7 lots of this stuff that we sold with no problem.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things where we bought a big tub of all this really nice wallpaper for $10, and we probably made, $1,500 on all of the... and I told her, we've sold many rolls of this. We've never had a single complaint. They were sealed in sealed in the roll, right. And... but send us a photo, and we'll make sure everything turns out okay.
Yeah.
Because, we aren't trying to dump her. We just need to work her through a process. Basically, she wrote me back and said, okay, I'll try and send itchy pictures, and that was it. And then she never sent photos.
She never
did anything.
She never did anything, yeah.
And so... And at this moment, it's been past the 30 days since I'm pretty sure she can't open a case anymore.
Right.
And it's done. And I don't know. I'm just thinking it's one of those examples of maybe it didn't look the way she thought it would look. Or
maybe the person who was putting it up did it wrong or something. Who knows why.
But, instead of kind of getting drawn into the drama... with anger and whatever else I could have felt,
Fear,
I just kind of just started to try and walk her through a process, and that process was she would have to eventually open a case, and then we would have worked it out through eBay.
Right.
Because really I think that the solution would be we would take back any rolls that hadn't been used yet, but
something like that.
Or she would have to actually take photos and prove that the edges were flaking or something. But
yeah.
So anyway, that's it was a good thing. It was low drama and it all worked out.
You made it low drama. That was good.
One thing I'm going to link to this on the blog, but this guy I follow who sells a lot on Amazon, I mean, if this is true, it's a big deal to me for people who sell on Amazon. So I know a lot of people buy and sell food. They do the retail arbitrage, and they're going to stores to a Walmart and they're buying
yeah.
fancy icing and little candy and whatever.
Yeah. No, that's
cereal.
Absolutely.
When they're buying it for $2 and selling $15 boxes of cereal to people in the military. It's kooky, but I guess it works. Anyway, he says that Amazon has a new thing where if you're trying to sell food, you have to be approved by Amazon to sell food. And in order to get approved, you actually have to, email them its receipts that you're buying wholesale.
Right.
So they want proof that you're buying from a company and they're selling to you with your name on it. And I guess what he's saying is they're having problems with people selling fake food or counterfeit brands.
That's weird.
I'll link to it. I'd be interested to know if this is really true, if no longer people can do a retail arbitrage with food, because that would be a big hit for a lot of people.
A lot of people doing groceries. Yeah, exactly. That is bizarre.
Yeah.
Most of you, I would think, have heard that you should change your password on eBay because they had a hack happen back in February that they just found out about it. And it sounds like nothing really happened from that hack, but eBay wants you to change your password anyway. So do that. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. I think you should just change your password. So if you hadn't heard about it, it's a good time to change your password. And then remember that password, because the next time you sign in, it'll be a different password. I keep having to remind myself what the new password is.
Okay, we're going to answer the questions that people have emailed in to us, which is totally cool. We love the emails that people send in. Just do know that on Thursdays we put up the question and answer on the blog, so you could actually just put the question up as a comment and let other people jump in and answer as well, and it's quicker that way. Oh, and one other thing, people still do this. Sometimes we'll get these, people will send us a question with just their name, and there's no way to contact them, and they're asking us specifically something, and we can't contact you. So if you need to actually talk to us,
just send us an email directly.
Right, or include your email
address, yeah. Someone named Newbie asks, can combined shipping be done if a buyer bought 2 or more items with the buy it now option and the listings had require immediate payment selected? From research, refunding some of the cost would still require that the seller has to pay the final value fees on the original shipping. Others suggest refunding the items in full and then sending a combined invoice. What do you suggest? Yes, I totally hear you. eBay does not make it easy for sellers like us who sell different weird weight items to do combined shipping. You cannot make rules for this. Like, if I did iPhone cases, I could easily say, you want 3 of these? Great. Each additional item costs 50 cents each to ship. Like, that's a shipping rule. But what you can do is what this person kind of suggested, where, okay, so they buy 2 pairs of shoes and they overpaid by $5 on shipping, and then you just go into PayPal and give them $5 back. That's what I do. That's the easiest. It's, you're going to pay final value fees on the shipping. If you really want to calculate out the final value fees, add that into the amount that you're not going to refund them, and then don't refund them that amount.
But normally we don't worry about that.
I don't care. I'm like, whatever.
And very often, their eBay buyers are pretty smart about it. They're like, I want to buy these 2 things.
They'll let you know.
I'm going to do that, and then can you combine the shipping? And we'll say, it's no problem. Just go ahead and buy them, and then we'll refund you $5, and everyone's happy. Another
thing, too, is if your buyer does let you know beforehand, you can go in and take out the require immediate payment thing off, and then you can send them an invoice. So that's a way to do it if they let you know beforehand. But yeah, it's a weird conundrum. I agree.
So Mark Vincent writes down and says, I'm 65 and I want to supplement my social security with an eBay store. It seems like there's a lot of people it's like this, and they think, I think it would make my life much easier because these days you can't live on what SS pays you. I feel like I'm on easy street if I could even make 1/3 as much as we do. But here's his a question. How do I streamline my listing process? I find it takes me about an hour to list a product with all the research and other steps involved. If I want to list it's 50 or 60 items a week, it would take too long. Can you help me cut down the time? Okay. Number one, if you're just starting out, I think a lot of it is just practice.
Right.
If it's taking you an hour to like photograph something and measure it and then research it and list it, I just think that's just, you're still getting your feet wet.
Right.
I think once you do it, after you do maybe 500 of those, it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't a lot.
Yeah.
You'll get it down to about 15 minutes or so, because you will have learned what a lot of stuff is, and you don't have to actually do the research on it because it's already inside of your brain.
Right. And another part of it too is what we find, I mean, there's two of us, but you could do this just as one person. Get all your stuff. Okay, say you have 50 items, 40, 50 items. Take pictures of all those items. Do 20. Take pictures of all of them. Write down the measurements and whatever. And then, the next day or later in that afternoon, just start listing.
Right.
You don't have to do one. That would take me forever if I was doing them all at once.
To do one at a time,
It's like, do them in bulk.
Right.
That's the key. Do them in bulk.
And we even talk about this too. We group things up.
Yeah.
So we do all the shoes at one time. So I'll take all pictures of shoes. I'll take 20 or 30 pictures or 20 or 30 items at one time.
Right.
Or, all kitchen stuff. And that's also helpful, because then when you list 20 pairs of shoes, you just do sell similar?
Yeah,
sell
similar, yeah. I mean, and I try to, group them into shoes that are similar. So, okay, all these Oxfords, great, sell the next one, sell the next one, sell the next one. It's easy. You just change what's in
because then you're just using the same template, and you just have to switch out some of the words and some of the measurements.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I say try doing stuff in bulk, and don't do 50 items in one sitting.
Yeah,
I mean, that will take forever.
And like we say, people getting started, and they they have all these dreams and they want to do it. I get it. 6 months. It's going to take you 6 months to get to where you're feeling like you understand everything, and it's like ingrained in you how to do it.
But the great thing is, I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, it's not like you're like not learning and not having fun. So 6 months it's going to fly by.
So we got a nice message. It's not really a question, but we'll share it because we appreciate this.
Yes.
Eleanor writes to us, and she found our store. We're glad to tell people our store name if they email us, and a lot of people just find it because it's not hard to find.
We're going to get a lot of emails now after you said that.
Yeah. She looked at her store, and she saw that when she would click on one of her items, that the expedited shipping would show up first. So if someone was trying to buy a jacket from us for $18 or $30, the expedited shipping could be as much as $18, depending on where that person was.
Yeah, I think she's probably in California.
This is very helpful to us, and we learn a lot from people who either see our store or hear or comments that people leave on the blog, and actually we changed that.
Yeah.
Now, why was that happening?
Now, it's funny because after we got this email, you and I had a conversation where you were like, why are you showing the more expensive shipping first? And my theory was, and I had to kind of stop and think about why I was doing it, was people want things faster over price. But then you asked me, when people get an invoice for a make an offer, what do they choose for shipping? And I say, they usually choose the cheaper one. They choose parcel. So you said, okay, by them choosing that, even if we use priority because it's, the same price if you get the discount, blah, 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 they're saying they want price over time shipped. So, and some of these were older listings too. So I went in and I did the bulk edit on jackets and shoes, all men's and all women's jackets and shoes, and made sure, because those are heavy items mostly, made sure that parcel shows on top first. But they do have a choice to choose priority if they want it faster.
So, but is that true on all items now, or just on jackets?
Well,
and
some
shoes?
items don't have parcel posts because they're light enough that you're like, this is 1 pound.
Okay. But but on every single item, is the cheaper option the first option?
It should be now.
Okay,
yeah, it
cool.
should be now. Like, if someone buys a hat,
Right.
I always do first class, because
Right.
it's light enough. But if they want it priority,
Right.
I have that choice underneath.
So that was very helpful, and maybe that might help other people. But Eleanor, we appreciate it.
Yes.
Lori T, this isn't really a question, but I
It's
think
a statement.
I think I can't imagine like the moment she emailed us this, but I think it'd be good to talk about it. And she says, "I have to put up a video on eBay to show that a clock works. I'm going to price it very high, and I'm a little scared about having to do it."
So I don't know if she's scared to price it high or scared to make a video.
So, look, we get it. And I don't know her experience with eBay, but if someone's new, I remember when we started pricing items high, it was a little nerve-wracking because we weren't sure if the stuff we had was good enough to ask for $100,
$1,000.
yeah, or $200, or even at one point selling things for $75 just seemed
was a big
insane.
deal,
I'd just be like,
I was really nervous.
We bought this for $25, and someone's gonna pay $75. They're gonna get it and like be so angry at us, But
they'd be so mad.
But the reality is, they don't know how much we paid for the item.
Yeah, right.
And if the item is researched, then we know that people pay that amount for these items, and the money they're paying us is for all the work and the time we put into first finding it, and then presenting it to them, and then shipping it to them. That's worth our time.
So, Lori, if you've done the research and you know that your clock in the condition that it's in is worth the price you're going to ask, be confident in that price. And if you're not, make offer on it and just see how it goes. And making a video is easy.
But, we were just talking about this. I follow other people's personal eBay blogs, and it kills me. People put in so much time, and they're selling things for
$5.
$5, $12, and it's just, that's a tough way to make a living. And, I mean, if that's what it's worth, it's what it's worth, but
usually
I don't know.
it's worth more, whatever it is.
I think people sometimes undervalue their time and the stuff that they have.
Yeah. Okay, Diana says, I have approximately 150 items listed at one time and have never had such a halt to my sales as now. What seems to be the aftermath of the eBay security breach, which possibly/probably has eBay buyers frightened off the site. Has anyone else experienced this? I haven't sold anything in 4 days. I was scared about that because I heard about the eBay security breach early in the morning. We sold stuff all day. It was not a problem. Like, I was listing stuff fine. I sold stuff all day. I sold stuff the next day. It was not I did not see. It felt slow, but it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true, but, that is interesting. I mean, if you have about 150 items, and if you sell on a regular basis, number one, that's amazing.
Yes.
I'm always like, if you have under 500 items at your store, I really feel like you're going to always have slow days. You're always going to have patches where you don't sell things. And if you have under 500 items, and if you're selling every day or on a regular basis,
that's amazing.
You're really like a top-notch scavenger.
Like, my mom has 700 items in her store, and she'll go 2 days without selling something.
Right.
And she's just like, I don't know. I mean, she has a wide variety of things that can sell, and she'll go a couple days.
So that's why it's when I see people post on our blog in the comments, and they'll say, things are slow, like disaster. And, I'm just always like, if you have under 500 items, if you have under 1,000 items, just you're going to have slow days because it is a numbers game.
Yeah, it's a numbers
And that's why it's always incredible to me. There's this guy, Steven Schultz, like he has
he's amazing.
Under 300 items, and he's making like $800, $1,000 in a week. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like,
he's just like, man,
you're doing something right, man.
He's like really finding the cream of the cream of the cream, and like that's really good.
So boost your numbers up.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening this week, and don't forget that you can subscribe to us by email. It's just on the sidebar of our blog, ebayscavengers.com, and if you just put in your email, then things magically come to you, and we don't do anything with that email. And you can also subscribe to us by iTunes as well. And you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. Yep, on YouTube as well. And don't forget, we have that it's question and answer on Thursdays. So if you have questions and don't want to wait for us, just go ahead and post it up there, and a lot of other smart people can help us answer it. See ya. Bye.